So I think this. Oh no, is it? That might be an actual child. That might be someone different. But someone got cut from the show. I guess we have to find out from Joke World. Big up Joke World. The Wild Kill Tony Netflix aftermath. Let's hear what Joke World has to say about the aftermath of the show on Netflix.
What's the deal with airplane peanuts? This is it, the Mecca. The greatest arena in the world, the third ever Kill Tony here, and proud to...
Let's relax, Tony Hinchcliffe. Let's relax. Let's fucking relax. It's just a comedy show. Let's fucking relax.
Say the first podcast ever at Madison Square Garden, and the first time...
It's not really a podcast either, man. They're really stretching this terminology of podcast, aren't they? I never really thought of Kill Tony as a podcast. It's more of a live show, a live comedy, open mic show that gets recorded into a podcast. But it's not necessarily a podcast. They need to relax, you know. It's not a podcast at all. Come on, let's chill.
In an arena for Netflix, everybody. You are here watching history happen.
I want to say this on Netflix.
Oh, by the way, just as an observation, big up Red Band, boy. Big up Red Band. I think he's listened to the complaints, or maybe Netflix didn't like what they saw. What do you think happened, by the way, in the stream chat? Do we think someone from Netflix stepped in, or do we think Red Band listened to some of the criticisms and complaints? Because look at him, he looks completely different. He looks like he's got some makeup on, looks like he's got some life in his face. He's dyed his beard. He's got a new haircut. He's got some trendy glasses. He kind of looks like Brendan a little bit. But he looks like he actually looks like he had a shower. Like, he looks clean and proper. Look, like, fucking hell. I've never ever seen fucking Red Band like that in ages, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, look, we got Josie. Oh, you think it was Ozempic? I don't know if it's Ozempic or just somebody from Netflix stepped in and said, "Hey, you're looking too grey. You look like you're sipping an Astro. We can't be having that." He looks good, man. He looks got some life in his face. Thank God for once. Thank God.
Watching history happen.
I want to say this on Netflix in front of all these people here. Dude, I've been doing this show with you since it was in the belly room at the Comedy Store, and there was 20 people there. This is fucking insane.
Good night. God bless. Kill Tony forever.
132 days after their debut episode on the largest streaming platform in the world, Tony Hinchcliffe returned to the most famous arena on earth with Mark Normand, Matt Rife, and the Legends Bucket to record the second installment of Kill Tony for Netflix, along with a stand-up showcase of his own where the comedian officially announced a massive extension with Netflix for 12 more episodes of the podcast that will be...
Jesus Christ, 12 more episodes. Fucking hell. Well done to Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Have they got an official announcement about that? Kill Tony Netflix deal. Fucking hell, Tony Hinchcliffe killed it. Let's see. Let's go on news. Any official announcement here? Let's do Kill Tony Netflix. I don't see it there. I don't see any official announcement from the press. So we'll just take Joke World's word for it.
Released once a quarter over the next 3 years. Last night, Tony put on a stand-up show called The Killers of Kill Tony, but prior to that, the last time he was in this arena was for the infamous joke at the Trump rally.
Is this your first time wearing a suit?
Actually, it's not. I wore a suit last time I was at Madison Square Garden. It's a special event. Don't look it up.
As far as the actual show goes, Mark Normand was on fire right from the jump with constant zingers like always. Matt Rife was also solid with some quick jokes after taking some time to warm up, but in general, these three together might be some of the fastest riffers you can find. There were some people online who were surprised to see...
Ew. Fastest riffers you can find. Come on, Joke World, man. Like, what? These might be some of the fastest riffers you can find. Like, let's use some different adjectives, no? Let's maybe find some different ways to describe things that we like. Fastest riffers? What?
see Matt Rife on this episode just because he's probably not the first comedian that pops into your head when you think about Kill Tony or New York City, but he did sell out MSG twice this year on his own. And aside from that, it's also fairly obvious that all of these guests for the Netflix episodes are comedians who either used to or currently have stuff on Netflix, just like they did for episode 1. Two things that really surprised me about seeing the show in person were our phones not being locked up at the venue and the quick 9-day turnaround to get this episode on Netflix.
Wow, 9 days. Big up NJ Ranger.
Joke World Don't Ball Wash Challenge, impossible.
It's exactly. Yo, he like. Don't get me wrong. I think he's important. I think he's important to the scene. I think if you have people like me and others, I think you need to have a joke world. It can't just all be fucking. Look at how dumb they are. Look at how fat they are. Look at how ugly they are. Look at them. Do you know what I mean? There has to be some praise. And he looks like he genuinely loves comedy. You know, he loves stand up. Like he wants to be a part of fucking your mum's house. He's probably gonna end up being an extension of your mum's house soon if he's not already. You know, like it's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing. I think we should. Joke what don't ball wash challenge impossible. The fastest riffers in the world. The three of the like. Relax, bro. Relax. No, Joko's my guy. I'm not doing this. You guys are hating. I'm not doing this. Joko's my guy. Free comedy enforcement too, wherever you are. Joko's my guy. I'm not doing this with you guys. I'm not getting in the mud. I'm not gonna insult him. I like Joko. Joko's my guy.
This was my first time ever attending a Kill Tony arena show, and to be honest, I walked in expecting things to feel a lot more disconnected and overproduced. It's no secret that all arena shows lack the intimacy of clubs and theaters when it comes to comedy shows in general.
By the way, what he said is a good point. 9-day turnaround is fucking nuts, bro. For all those multicams and shit, the editing, the light, everything, to turn that around in 9 days, like that's fucking phenomenal. Really, really, really good.
Let alone something like Kill Tony that relies on non-professional comedians for half the show who are bound to crumble under the bright lights of any arena, regardless if it's MSG or HEB. But in reality, everything felt surprisingly normal, and even though the space was super large, it still felt full from entertainment. Everyone I saw in the building was having a great time before and after the show.
Hey yo, Ryan Harty, I'm so glad you said that. Podcast Cringe love Starvey and Chrissy D so much, just like Joke World, and it's disgusting. I've been watching a few of the Two Bears One Cave with Stavros and fucking Chris DeStefano, right? Because I enjoy both of them. I think they're both. I enjoy them individually and I enjoy them together. But it's a bit of a trip when you watch a Podcast Cringe reviewing or recapping an episode of Two Bears One Cave, and then you watch it yourself. Or no, you watch Two Bears One Cave first yourself, and then you watch an episode of Podcast Cringe where he reviews it. It really kind of throws you for a loop, because the way he be talking about those shows, like it was good, but it wasn't that funny. Like you know, like it's much better than Two Bears One Cave with Bert and fucking Tom. Obviously, it's still better than a lot of them, but it's not as funny as he's making it seem. So I guess we all have our favorites, isn't it? We all have our people that tickle us. Like if fucking Sebastian Maniscalco was good on podcasts or gave a shit about podcasts, I'd be fucking crying with laughing, right? Like same goes for Fluffy. I've got my favorites, you know. If those guys did fucking pods on a regular, I'd be fucking, you know what I mean? I'd be showing all fucking teeth, you know what I mean? Top row, bottom row, all day. So I guess we have our favorites and we kind of, you know, kind of add some sauce to the belly laughs. But some of the episodes of Two Bears One Cave I've been watching lately, they've been good, don't get me wrong, but they've not been as good as my guy PT's been making it out to seem to be.
I'm not sure how it'll translate on the big screen, but from a boots on the ground perspective, it felt like a special night. In fact, I'd say the entire episode went pretty smoothly outside of the typical booing that happens at these arena shows every time the crowd reaches a size of critical anonymity. Unlike the episodes at the Mothership where
sound like he was upset about that. And like if it shows a reach level of critical anonymity, it sounds like he wanted to snitch. It sounds like you went to tattletale on somebody. Get someone's attention, isn't it? Get someone from security or some concierge, someone to kind of do something. Can you do something about this? I can't hear the jokes, you know? Like, he sounds like he kind of got annoyed by people booing in the crowd and being loud and boisterous and crazy. Like, come on, Joe Quad, relax, enjoy the show, have a drink, take a bump, it'll be all right.
There's a baseline expectation that the bucket pulls might do well, or at least could do well. As an open micer performing live in front of 18,000 people with millions and millions more watching at home on Netflix, it's almost considered a victory to just get all the way through your set without completely losing the crowd.
Tony starts to show off and he goes, all right, guys, we're going to bring out our first bucket pull. Here we go. There's one rule tonight. Let them do their set. No booing during their... And he got as far as no booing, and the whole crowd's like, you, Tony!
One thing that really stood out in episode 2 was the strong performances from the regulars. Maybe it's because they did that stand-up show in the same arena the evening prior to Kill Tony, but whatever it was, all of the regulars seemed to thrive on Saturday night. Cam Patterson did his thing on the show as usual and got passed at the Cellar while in New York. Ari Maddie received one of the biggest ovations of the evening, and
Really? Let's just check out the Comedy Store. I'm actually curious to see, what do they say when you get passed? Do they put an announcement up? Comedy Cellar New York. Did they actually put an announcement and say, hey, congratulations, you've been passed? I want to see what they do. So allegedly Cam Patterson's been passed. Did they put something up on the Instagram? Like, what happens? Do you get like a ribbon? Do you get a belt? Do they give you a badge? A star? Maybe a little fucking moleskin book? What? How do you know you've been passed? Or they just tell you and then you put up on your own Instagram? I can't see no post here with Cam Patterson. None. Okay. Cool. Let's see his own Instagram then. Maybe he might have it on his own Instagram. There it is. Cam's so funny. Get it? Because he tells jokes. Get it? Has he got a post about it being passed at the Cellar? No post about it. No post about the Cellar I can see. No? That's the Cellar there? No, that's not the Cellar. So how do people know about this stuff? How do you find out someone got passed somewhere? Okay.
somehow looked more comfortable on Netflix at MSG than he did on Netflix at the mothership. David Lucas and Hans Kim both rose to the occasion as well.
Really? I got to watch this for the Patreon then. I need to watch this for the Patreon. David Lucas did well. Hans Kim did well. Hans Kim is fucking garbage. They both did good. I ain't seen this with my own eyes. Reaction coming to the Patreon. Reaction coming to the Patreon with this. I ain't seen this with my own eyes. Really, they did well.
And Fiona Colley had a pretty funny interview too.
Fiona has one of the best senses of humors. We've talked about it a billion times. Is there any good news with your condition or anything?
No.
Even though it took place in an arena, episode 2 felt like a way better representation of the Kill Tony universe to brand new Netflix viewers compared to episode 1, which relied heavily on characters and stunts. This time around, the actual comedy was way more on display, and all the extra spectacle from last time was generated just by being inside such a beautiful venue. Or at least that's how it all seemed in person.
So they learned their lesson from that first episode of having too many big guests and making it all about the guests and not about the pure essence of fucking Kill Tony, which is doing the open mic shit. Okay. I see where he's going here.
The Legends bucket was also super clutch, once again keeping the show on pace and guaranteeing.
Hey yo, relax, joke word. The Legends bucket was super clutch. How does that even make sense? Does that even make sense? Saying a Legends bucket is super clutch. Isn't that completely fucking using the word clutch, no? How can the Legends bucket... Oh, you say the Legends came up clutch, right? Some of the Legends came... Or the Legends set came up clutch. But then that would also make it seem as if the night wasn't good. But he said it was good. So you can't really say they came up clutch if the night was good anyway. If the night was bad, you could say, oh my god, the Legends came up clutch. Or the open micers came up clutch. How can the bucket itself, like, whatever.
Guaranteeing there will be quality stand-up throughout the show, even if all the real bucket pulls bombed. Those legends included Dave Attell, Jim Norton, Joe DeRosa, Harland Williams, and Jeff Ross.
I'm so proud of you. I mean, here we are. Madison Square Garden, sold out. I gotta say, for a...
You think, is this glazing they do, right? Is this glazing, or as certain J Ranger would say, this ball washing? Is this part of the ruse that they all do? It's kind of clever, isn't it? Each comedian, especially the big ones, get on stage and they do this little thing where they suck off Tony Hinchcliffe and kill Tony for like 2 minutes. Oh my god, I want to let everybody know, all the Netflix executives, this is so good. Is that a way to like guarantee you get paid? Guaranteed to get a new contract? It's kind of clever, isn't it? Like, you don't just let the show speak for itself. You also kind of re-emphasize it with all your guests. It's sort of like it's kind of like a chant, right? It's kind of like you're being hypnotized. Like, it was so good. Thank you, Tony. I remember doing this show in the belly room when there was 2 people and one person had 1 leg. Oh, it's so good. Best show on earth. Next person comes on. I remember doing this when it was in a car park and Tony was sucking someone's dick on the stage as a joke. Remember that? Like, I wonder if that's all part of the fucking game, you know?
Bottom, you're really on top.
You have a gun?
Yeah, big up Ryan Harty. Big up, big up, big up.
Joke World is trying to get in the green room.
Yeah, he definitely is. Can you imagine the amount of DMs he must have been? I like you, Joke World. You know I do. But let's just call a spade a spade. Can you imagine the amount of DMs he's probably sent to try and get into fucking clubs and I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I think the only way to run a channel like Joke World, if it was me, again, I shouldn't tell him because he's nearly approaching fucking 1 million subscribers. He doesn't need any fucking help from me. But if I was probably running a channel like Joke World, I think the only way to do it properly would be to just be like a super enthusiastic sort of like comedy person, like in the shape of like a Nardwuar. You just go to shows, you just pay for tickets, you attend them, you document what's going on. You might interview some fucking, you know, some fans or whatnot, but you keep it there. You don't try and get too much involved in the background, behind the scenes. Obviously, there's way more money in what he's doing now, which I understand, because he has comedians on and shit. I'm sure he gets fucking, you know, tickets for some shit. But I think trying to have that, trying to be neutral that way will probably be good. But anyway, who knows?
Just like the arena show before this in Nashville, there was another 4-way speed round contest between Jack Shaw, David Jolly, Serena Teal, and Danny Martinello, who won the crowd noise competition with a great minute to secure his place at Kill Tony's next arena show. But there's no question the loudest Madison Square Garden got all night was for the newest Kill Tony sensation, Timmy No Breaks.
This legend bucket pull says the words, Timmy No Breaks, everyone. I mean, this can't be real.
Yeah, I think that even counting like the Tony walking out on stage, any of the Legends bucket pulls, anyone that can...
Oh shit, look at the... Come on, man. Come on. Is that his own studio? He's got a picture of fucking Christina P and Tom Segura on his wall. Is that his own studio? That's fucking hilarious. Mummy and Daddy. He's got Mummy and Daddy on the wall. Fucking legend. Big up Joke World, but that's fucking hilarious.
Came out. I think you had the loudest pop, the loudest audience reaction of the whole thing. People were going crazy, high-fiving each other in the audience. What did it feel like to walk out there to that type of reaction?
Felt very cool. I'm like, every single time I've ever done the show, I've blacked out. This, I blacked out the most of all the blackouts. So I don't really remember totally like how it felt. Like literally like watching it back, I was like, I don't remember doing any of that.
Wow.
Yeah, for real. Like the short answer is I do not remember. You know, I was super nervous, like obviously very, very nervous, but it was sort of, it's such a preposterous thing to go from like in literally 2 months or 2.5 months to go from like Vulcan to Mothership to Madison Square Garden. That
he's like the new Brendan Shaw, isn't it? He's like the new Brendan Shaw, but with talent. He's like Brendan Shaw, but if he had actual talent.
Like I was just kind of back there and I'm like, this is so fucking ridiculous that like I wasn't really as nervous the first Vulcan time because I was just like, I have nothing to lose, I'm just gonna send it, whatever. And I remember that whole experience kind of, and then Mothership I was very nervous because I was like, all right, now I really have to deliver, there's a lot of pressure. And then this one I was just sort of like, it's just so fucking ridiculous. So like the circumstances of me going up there, and I think any comedian just being like, this is Madison Square Garden, it's kind of a ridiculous place to even try and do stand-up comedy. It's like, all right, it's coming back to me a little bit. You basically come out, it's a sea of people and you can't really see everybody, but it just becomes this inanimate blob where you're like looking out. When you take a moment to look out there, it's just like you can't really connect with anything like you can at Mothership. So you can't see how people are feeling and you can't really And so it's, I don't know. Long story short, it's a completely surreal, not natural comedic experience.
Yeah,
I would
that
say.
definitely makes sense. Like you said, it is pretty preposterous to go to Vulcan to MSG in 2 months. And then add on top of that, now you're a Netflix comedian as well. What was it like finding out, not only are you about to do MSG, but it's also going to be on Netflix?
It was really cool. It was sort of the way, so Tony hit me up. We haven't talked like a ton, but like he got my number, he hit me up. I was doing Secret Show. He came to Secret Show just to talk to me. So he told me in person, which I thought was like a really nice, cool move. He could have just, I mean, the fact that he did that on like a already very packed lineup and he found room for me to like do it. But him telling me in person was really cool. He told me, he's like, yeah, you're coming to MSG. We're going to put you up. We're going to fly you out. And, and then it's also going to be the Netflix episode. It's just like, Jesus.
So you didn't get paid. You got flued out. You got put up and stuff, I'm assuming. But it looks like you didn't get any shinglings. But to be fair, this type of opportunity, you don't really give a fuck about payment. Do you know what I mean? The opportunity to be on that sort of platform, to have that sort of fucking, catchment of people watching you and shit, international, global, you can't pay for it. So, if you don't get paid, you just get flown out first class, you get put in a nice hotel, you get looked after with drinks and food and shit, you're fine. You know what I mean? Because what he's going to get from this, you'd imagine, is going to be tenfold. What you get from it be tenfold. I'm wondering though, going forward, do you think Kill Tony will start having their own agency and shit? Do you think they'll start representing comedians? Like if you come through Kill Tony, they'll represent you, take a cut, become your agent or something. Do you think that's a thing? Exactly. There we go. That's exactly what I was thinking. Right, Artie? Like, cause Tony's sounding like a bit of a pimp, innit? He's sounding like he's in the game, innit? He's sounding a little bit like, I don't know. Not too sure.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
So it was cool. He told me in person. I thought that was like a very like classy, nice, much more than you need to do. Mm-hmm. Just giving me the opportunity, and then how he communicated it, I thought was like super cool.
Was there any part of it that kind of like ruined the next few weeks of your life because now you have this hanging over your head, or was it just, I'm so excited?
Oh no, it totally ruined everything. Yeah, I mean, the pressure that you feel is completely like, it's just, there's nothing that it's impossible to experience anything like that before in your life.
Who does he sound like when you close your eyes? Who does he sound like? Is it Casey Neistat? He sounds like somebody, innit? If you close your eyes and don't listen and don't look at him, he sounds like somebody, innit? I can't think, but he sounds like somebody. I'm gonna figure it out.
Like, okay, well, like I almost wish you told me, and then the next day I went up there, and so it's it's one of these things that's really hard for me is I look at the minute, but then I also look at the interview, and I try to be like prepared for both. The first time was like the most improvised time, like I was just like, I'm going to go up there. The only thing I had in my head that I knew I was going to do is if he gave me a big joke book, I was going to smack it out of the air and be like, I don't write, bitch. And then he was so nice by the end that I just people don't know this, but he threw it directly to me, threw it perfectly. And then I just let it fall. And then I threw it out or whatever, but I was going to fucking...
That's so funny.
That was the only plan I had. And then the second time, I would say 80% of that I had thought about before. And then these were organic moments where he would just... It was like throwing a baseball up and I could just be like, got something for that. Bam. Like Ryan O'Neal, I'm going to serve you or whatever. And then this time... It kind of felt like I maybe over prepared and try to, I'm picking it apart, over prepared, try to get too much out there. And then that minute does very well in a club setting, but I don't know if I rushed it or didn't set it up properly, but it definitely didn't translate as well to an arena. This to me was the worst of them. And I'm trying to understand why. And I think maybe part of it is that I maybe put too much effort into thinking about everything, and there's a million things I didn't do that I wanted to do. But yeah, again, long answer to a really simple question. You're a fucking mess. Yeah. You're just all you can do is think about it, plan everything, overthink things, make.
Yo, big up Coiler in the chat. Same thing Dice Clay did. Jew pretending to be Italian from Jersey. I'm actually surprised the Andrew Dice Clay thing hasn't been copied more often, or in recent. Obviously, he's kind of doing his sort of like flip on it. I'd say years wise era, I'd say his caricature is more 90s and less 80s. You know, it kind of feels like Dice Clay's image of who he's, or maybe Dice Clay is even more 70s, right? With the fingerless gloves, it kind of reminds me of it kind of reminds me, what's that movie called? Is it Come Out to Play, when all the guys are wearing fucking denim jackets? What's that old school movie? You know, it kind of reminds me of that Michael Jackson scene where they're fighting in the underground. Dice Clay comes from that sort of era, really dilapidated, smashed up New York. That's it, Warriors. It kind of reminds me of that. Whereas this person he's representing is more like Studio 54, which is like 80s and 90s. I think Dice Clay is more 70s. This version that he's trying to portray is 80s, but I'm surprised no one has kind of like done it more often going forward, you know? Use that sort of like outfit, whatever, you know? That sort of thing. I'm surprised it's not been a thing. But yeah, it's very, very Andrew Dice Clay like.
Things worse because you're overthinking things, all that. Yeah.
But I also think it's a bit of a lazy observation too in comparison. Nothing always has to be like something. He's doing his own thing. I don't really think it's very Andrew Dice Clay at all, to be fair. He also doesn't continue doing it in, you know, IRL. It's kind of like a character he just plays and just continues on. Whereas Andrew Dice Clay, you know, it's kind of like, it's a part of him now. That kind of person or persona he's created. But yeah, I think they're different. They're in the same universe, but they're different.
What were some of the things that you didn't get to or left off the table for MSG?
Yeah, the two things that come to mind.
We got Corey, like, either way, I think it's corny. Okay. Fair play.
So like I wanted like my entire like idea for it, and like I work with this friend of mine like on it. He's like, he had this idea of me pointing to the audience and being like, you know, when I say repeat after me.
I'm gonna start using music beds for my clips as well. I'm gonna start using music beds. I'm gonna start using some AI music beds, like, or just creating some nice ones, because it helps when the person's just chatting shit. You can't both listen. You just start listening to the music bed. You know, I like it.
And then I would yell "Gayo," like when I point at you, say that, and I'd be like, "Not yet," and then it would just be like on the table for at any point I could be like, "Tony is gay," and then point at them.
Yeah.
Or like if somebody else roasted me, I could do that. So I really wanted to do that. I thought that would be fun. And then the other one I really wanted to do was, if you asked me another question, I'd be like, all right, before I answer this question, I want everybody in the pit to stand up, separate. All right, when this answer drops, I want you to run at each other and mosh. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. And then I would just like insist that everybody in the audience was like actually freaking out and moshing. And then if the camera guy shot a shot, I'd be like, "What the are you doing, camera guy? Fucking film me." If you can't see at home, they're fucking moshing right now.
I would have done it, dude. You had them in the palm of your.
I think Joker was about to come there. I think Joker was about to come in that fucking chair right there. Like, he's doing bits right in front of me. Timmy No Brains. Joker was about to come right there in that fucking chair. He was loving every minute of that one. He was.
Your hand.
Yeah.
There people were high-fiving when they just said your name in the audience.
That's so cool.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
Mark Norman, Matt Rife were on the panel. As far as Timmy No Break's best situation, who would your dream panel be that you would think would be like, oh, this would be fun to riff with this guy, or he'd really get what I'm doing?
Mark is like, I think super, super good for that show. He's like a comedic savant, you know, like the fact that he's able to get out as many jokes on the fly as he does is.
Also, come on, bro. The wristbands. Come on, brother. You know I like you, but what are these wristbands? Unless one of them says, "What would Jesus do?" or all three of them say, "What would Jesus do?" Take them off, please. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're too old for these wristbands. Come on, my guy. Come on.
Like one of the most impressive things I've ever seen any guest do. And then Matt Rife is like, he gets out good jokes, and he's also just like super nice and super positive. So I thought it was like a great panel for the show. I think like for this character though, like having like an Adam Ray or like an Adam Ray, I think would be perfect.
Harland?
Harland would be perfect. Yeah, Harlan would be perfect. I think it would just be like a really fun back and forth.
So have you heard from anyone after the Netflix episode that didn't know
about the YouTube episodes or anything? How is there a bigger reach on Netflix? Can you feel that?
Yeah, it's been less through Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was more on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I think just the fact that like YouTube is like on the internet and like you could post like
clipped up.
Yeah, more clipped up and stuff like that, I think. But also, I don't think it was as strong of a performance, and I also think
YouTube's on the internet. Who would have guessed?
Like the novelty of like the whole Timmy No Breaks thing isn't like it was. I think there's like multiple variables in that, but from what, you know, from the people I've talked to, I think the bump that you get from Netflix is not as big, ironically, as the bump that you get from like the YouTube stuff.
Did you have a chance to do any other shows while you were in New York?
Look at how things have changed, man. There was a time when all these comedians would literally do anything. They'd sell their own fucking kids, sell their own kidneys to get on Netflix. Now they're all understanding that, actually, if you want to get your stuff seen, you might as well put it on YouTube, you know? Obviously, if you care about money, get yourself a fucking Netflix deal. You'd be dumb not to. But if you want people to see what you do, and you want it to reach a lot more people, and maybe open other doors, put it on YouTube isn't that bad of a thing, you know? So it's just interesting to see where we're at now. There was a time in comedy where putting your special up on YouTube was almost like a, you know, it was almost like there was a lot of shame attached to it. Oh, no one's buying your special. No one's believing on your special to put it behind a paywall on a streaming platform. But nowadays, you know, if you're good on the road and shit and you make a decent amount of money in a pod, you don't really need to put your shit on a fucking, whatchamacallit, streaming platform like that anyway. Just put it on YouTube and see how it goes.
Yeah, I did too. I did one at St. Mark's Place, which is called like the Big Book Club. So I think the idea for the show is just people that have gotten like a big joke book. And then I did one at this place called Sesh Comedy, which is kind of like a Black Rabbit type place in New York. Both very cool.
How is like, did you meet any New York City comedians? How is their like scene that you got to see a little bit of compared to Austin?
So like the Big Joke Book show is just all Austin guys basically. The Sesh show was some Austin guy, like I followed Danny Marinello that was on.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to see many people, but I think what's like different, and I got to do some shows in LA at the Comedy Store, and I think the difference between like New York and LA to Austin is that you can do spots at these like offshoot comedy clubs, and you can end up following like a Mark Norman or like one of these other guys, because Mark like will pop in to do like an open mic or like pop in to do a bar show and stuff like that. And I've heard it. It's so cool. Like the Secret Group, the smaller room at the Secret Group, I was talking to one of the guys, and he had, when he was just in town to do a show at like a theater, I guess, he just like wanted to get up and he like popped in there and was writing new material. He did Maggie Mays in Austin, you know?
Wow.
And so there's
That's so cool.
So there's people like, yeah, there's people that like,
ew.
You know,
wow.
And so there's
That's so cool.
So there's people like, yeah, Maggie Mays in Austin, you know,
wow.
And so
yeah,
there's
so cool.
So there's people like, yeah, there's people that like really love stand up, really care about the craft. Mark being like probably the best example of that, and will just hit these spots where like I could be doing a spot there, and so you get this experience of like being around, you know, the most successful, best stand-up comedians in the world, and getting to like follow them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, and I think I don't know if Cam officially moved to New York, but I think that was, from what I understand, like one of the main reasons.
Yo, the eye contact is strong. Look at him. The eye contact is strong. The eye contact is strong, bro. Is he even looking at him? I don't think he is, is it? No, the eye contact is strong. We got Joke World. He wants Timmy No Breaks to feel him, innit? He wants him to feel him.
It's like, you know, here you'll go up like with your peers a lot, unless you're doing the mothership all the time. But to get to like put yourself in positions where you have to follow like the best comedians in the world, it's like, you know, you're playing at JV, then you're playing at varsity, and then you're playing at whatever the this next level is.
Okay, cool. Big up Joke World. Appreciate you. You're a fucking legend.